Hello and welcome to this video, which I am making quickly to insert into this blog that I'm going to put out later in the week. Diving deep into this awesome weekly tarot reading for my Saints and Angels Oracle deck that I do every Friday. I put out on my Telegram and also mirror over on BitChute for people over there to catch. And this week's message for the collective is really profound, and so I really wanted to catch it all here in a whole video, because if you see, if you watched live or if you are going back to watch it, you'll see I don't get into all the cards in depthly and read from the book and all of that, because I like to keep those morning videos really quick. But the way that I shuffled and the things that popped out, it was just, three came out in a chunk all together. It was crazy. And it just came past, present, future in my site, just organizationally. Excuse me. I am literally buzzing from the energy and the synchronicity, the meaning that I feel within the cards right now. So yeah, trying to contain my excitement here. My brain's going faster than my mouth, I think. So, to reiterate, we have an overarching theme for all cards and for all, which was this: learning experience. Reminding us, right, that this is all learning experience. Everything is. The card is beautiful, the angel holding the dove, gentle love, appreciation for just that beautiful creature as is, And then we have cards that came out as past, present, and future. In the past, we have this beautiful card of practice makes perfect. And it's a message from our guardian angel. And I just absolutely love that she's playing the harp, because I have a beautiful metaphor, vision given to me of our own internal harps and our soul chords, so to speak, the melodies that we play energetically, just our own tune and our own uniqueness. I love to envision it as a harp, and you can, play your harp strings when you're doing something you love or something that lights you up, Practice makes perfect. And in the past, right, showing us and asking us as well to reflect on things we've put effort into, where we've built our practices, right, what we have put our effort into to build up for the present moment, which our message for today's moment is don't compromise. Such a beautiful message from Saint Agnes of Rome. And for future to come, right? Oops. You're a leader, Joan of Arc. Letting us know, right, and reiterating the importance here of past, present, is building to future for us to lead, to be leaders for others, right? And yet in all of it, overarching, is this learning experience message. Remember, it's all a learning experience. It's all to be, felt, explored through, muddled through, mucked up, mistakes and adventures and hiccups and disruptions, hurdles and obstacles. It's an obstacle course. But it's a learning thing, there's a beauty in it, and I really feel this strong, strong message here. The cards asking and reminding us to really hone in at all times, when at all aspects of reflection we can do, past, present, future, thinking, planning, assessments, to tie it in and remember it's learning experiences. Excuse me. To gauge, assess, and view all those experiences, obstacles, disruptions, the workarounds that you did, that you created, as learning experiences. Don't be so judgmental on them, right? So here in the video, I do want to read from the book a bit on each one of these. I didn't get a chance to do that in my quick video from this morning. I only went over St. Agnes of Rome because it's like the present moment, strongest message that I really wanted to highlight and jump into for that quick video. But here, you know, if you've come to stay and hear the full in-depth message and everything, and probably read the blog, which I will, you know, type out more, and I'm going to let it ruminate these messages over the weekend for myself and let other things percolate before I write the blog. This video, in case you haven't noticed, is directly right after I did the reading. So yeah, I'll do a write-up when I have a bit more time to conceptualize and let things percolate within me and the messages as well. But here, I'm going to read them for the first time for myself as well. Just get a first taste, right? Learning experience. This situation is an opportunity for you to look and learn some important life lessons. Instead of looking at the experience as a problem, see it as something that will help you learn and grow. Some of the valuable qualities that you're acquiring include strength, patience, forgiveness, and perseverance. Similar to the angel in the painting who's holding a glowing white dove, this is an opportunity to shine even more brightly. Notice any familiar aspects of the situation? Are there things you are tired of or ready to let go of? Once you extract the blessing within the pattern, it won't repeat itself anymore. It's such deep, unbelievable knowledge. Right? Once you extract the blessing, once you learn the lesson for what it is and accept it, right, as a blessing within the pattern, it won't need to repeat itself anymore. So deep. You will have learned the necessary lesson. You can be free from it for good. Right? Your guardian angel will help you see the current situation in a more positive light, as well as identify the lessons involved and heal away unwanted patterns. Simply ask your angel for help with these issues, and then pay attention to the loving thoughts or feelings that guide you to take action. I can never overestimate the amazing power that comes with just quieting your mind and simply asking your own angels, your own guidance, guardians, watchers, and assistants, right? For answers. You know, because if you pay attention, they really do speak to you so uniquely. What a beautiful reminder. Okay, so that's our overarching message, learning experience to keep in mind. Now I'm going to look back at the past about practice makes perfect, and we'll read this message here. Practice, practice, practice. That's the message that your guardian angel has for you. The way to achieve what you're asking about is to practice your craft regularly. Your guardian angel will help you carve out the time in your schedule to allow for regular work. This is a positive message for you to spend more time doing what you love. Practicing a new skill helps you become more proficient and confident, which positively affects all other areas of your life. This can also be a message for you to start a private practice as a healer. Yet in the same way, you must work at your healing skills to ensure that they are honored to the highest degree. Practice makes perfect is an age-old saying. But you don't need to perfect your skills. You just need to practice them. I like that. I feel like that's a tidbit of a reminder to us to pat yourself on the back about in the past, all the things that you practiced and all the things you've done, they were practice. Whether you did them well or not, whether you failed or not, succeeded, yeah, you learn a lot when you succeed, but how much more do you learn when you fail, right? So we kind of tend to look at the past, in practice makes perfect especially, and want to only highlight those things which we did well, or we feel we practiced to perfection now, or we're good at now. But really all of that, right, is learning experiences to look back at. I just feel like, they really want us to go and reflect and pat ourselves on the back, and pat myself on the back for all of the things that brought us to today, right? Don't compromise. St. Agnes of Rome. I'll read it again here, even though I read it in my live video, just in case you didn't catch that, and you're only going to watch here, or you only catch the blog on my website, maybe you don't follow Telegram at all, and that's totally cool. I don't want you to miss out on the message though, right? So we'll go for it again. You're asked to take a stand in favor of your truth and self-esteem. You don't need to compromise to get what you want. You can live by the truth of your beliefs. St. Agnes is your guide and role model in this aspect. She shows you that in love as well as relationships, and in career, home, health, and other life areas as well, you mustn't compromise your values. If you're in a difficult situation, first try to negotiate a better solution with the people involved. For instance, if your romantic relationship is unsatisfactory, tell your partner your honest feelings. St. Agnes and your angels will help you speak truthfully, with love, so that your partner can really hear you. If this doesn't yield satisfactory results, this saint may guide you to a counselor or a helpful organization. The key with this message, though, is to stand by your truth without compromise. So important. As God's holy child, you deserve to be treated with love, respect, and dignity. Accept nothing less. So important. St. Agnes was uncompromising in standing by her beliefs. Although she was tortured and threatened with death, she wouldn't renounce her faith. Legend also says that Agnes rejected would-be suitors, including a Roman dignitary, because she was determined to keep her chastity. Several men tried to rape her, but they were struck blind before they could harm her. St. Agnes died bravely for her faith at a young age, still a virgin. She was a patron saint of engaged couples, and she assists those who wish to find the most suitable marital partner. And so I feel like this, has an undertone message about don't compromise your self-love. Don't compromise your direct, intimate relationships either, right? Honor your self-love. You are worthy of it. And so is that partner, or whoever that you're in direct relationships with, right? They deserve that respect and admiration and love, compassion as well. Just like you want to be listened to and heard, so does your partner. So especially in the present moment, it's important for us to remember, don't compromise in love, right? Unconditional love. So important. And everything's a learning experience, right? Yet again, we tie in. This is all learning experiences. Whether you felt like a relationship was something that you have to be committed to for your whole life, or whether you feel like it's a relationship that you're fine to let go of. Nobody says which way is right in those close, intimate relationships. There's such intricate working there that it's really all intention based and important to follow your heart. I love that. Don't compromise your feelings, your heart, your value. If you feel like the relationship that you're in any way is, then that's probably a good key to time to release and let go. Assess, thank it for the learning experience it was, but say, wait a minute, I value myself. I want to value myself. I want to feel good. Don't be afraid to do that, right? such a deep, deep meaning. And then when we get to this future card here, you know, I feel, and I said this originally in my morning message video, that your leader, right, Joan of Arc. This Joan of Arc, for me, has a personal, beautiful connection tone to it. I love the Joan of Arc symbology and mythology, story, character, essence of her. She just embodies such a violet flame, kind of Kali, sacred, feminine, righteous, justice vibe to me that is almost like sacred rage. You know, it's that burning fire of cleansing clarity that kind of clears and it just totally in a detoxing for highest good kind of way that I always hearken to and am reminded of when I face really hard things, when I face my worst case scenario kind of situations, when I feel like, you know, I'm tied to the stake. Makes me think of, you know, the courage, the bravery, the state of mind and soul you must be in to stand without fear at the threshold, right? One of my favorite mentors of all time, Max Egan, he says you have to face infinity without flinching. And Joan of Arc did that, right? And it's a scary precipice to stand before and to see the cards and to see our saints and angels call in and hearken in advice and warnings towards, for us to look towards the future and build up our strength for this type of future, where boundaries, where faith, where moralities and righteous justice are really going to be tested and pushed, and really we can see it as a chiseling away, right? We have to draw in this learning experience card. We have to hearken back and remember with patience and gratitude that these are learning experiences, right? That no matter how tough, difficult, scary, impending doom type of scenarios it might feel like, it's a chiseling away at a beautiful sculpture underneath. And the pain of the chiseling, the scraping, the chipping away, you know, we're here to feel it. It's learning experience. There's no two ways about it. And especially when, you know, I don't want to get off on tangents, but when we think about we're in a 3D realm, we're birthed here on Earth, three-dimensional creatures, multi-dimensional, yes, but we are embodying third dimension reality here, third to fourth density, and for purposes, you know, hard feelings. We're energy alchemizing beings, creating energy manipulation within our vessels at all times, you know, on multiple levels, and between contrasts of duality, you know, forging in fire here. Diamonds hardening and pressurizing and condensing and into what they are, right? The beautiful struggle. And so I can't help but really feel a deep calling to the future, a drawing in of a stand of that kind, right? With this card here, reminding us that we're leaders for purpose, leaders through darkness, leaders through hard times, right? And I'm going to read from the book Joan of Arc here for the future. You're called upon to use your leadership skills to help an important cause. You probably know or suspect the nature of this endeavor already. Look at the synchronicity. Look at the amazing way they speak to us. I just love it. I love to hear universal confirmations play out in the present moment, right? You have natural qualities that will inspire others to help. Even if you don't think of yourself in this way, trust that this card comes to you as a clear message of your selection of this position. Through prayer, God, Joan of Arc, and other saints and angels will give you clear guidance as to how to be the best leader. You're divinely guided. Actions and words will motivate others into positive work. A leader best serves by being a living example, a role model. So live in such a way that others admire your integrity and strength of character. Joan of Arc is an inspiration to anyone who feels called to help yet worries about whether one individual can make a difference. At age 15, the French farm girl had a vision in which she saw lights and heard voices, which she later identified as Saint Michael, Catherine, and Margaret, among others, telling her to save France from the English invasion. Joan followed her divine guidance successfully and led the French army to victory and installed Charles VII as King of France. After her success, she was sold to the English, where she was tried, convicted, and burned alive for heresy. 23 years later, after her death, the charges against Joan of Arc were dropped. She is a patron saint of those who are persecuted for their spiritual beliefs and for women in the service corps. Such amazing messages, right? Personal references here to align back and solidify, the overall message here. All of the past, the things we're doing in the present, and as long as you do not compromise yourself. Stand for what you believe in, stand your ground, live in your heart center, and be guided by your personal true north, your guidance, your moralities. Don't be afraid to assess them either. Remember, the present is a learning moment. Remember that you can switch up and be fluid in your mind state and in your beliefs. You can alter and bring in new information, and as long as it aligns with your intention, your heart space, your intuition, your guidance, as long as you're not compromising yourself, it's beautiful, it's great, it's fluid. We're gaining more conscious awareness, right? Everything's a learning experience. And it's so important for us to remember that these present moment learning experiences are building strong faith, strong practice of perseverance, of standing up and standing true, so that in the future we are the leader, we are the signifying point. We can be beacons and lighthouses and shine that light, because it's going to be needed. It's coming to fruition. It will be a future of choice points, say, where great guidance is going to be needed, great light is going to need to be held in as a shining beacon, lighthouse for those who want to make the right choices in the future, or the choices that are right for them in the future. I hate to call it the right choices, because sometimes, and I can hear, the critical jumbling coming in, like, oh, what's right, and how can you say it's your right for people in the future, because it aligns with what I feel is right as a positive ascension towards oneness and wholeness. that doesn't resonate with everybody, right? And that's perfectly fine, you know? It's not even about the ultimate choice of what you resonate with. It's about hearing what your resonance is for you, tapping into it and following it, regardless of what it is. You know, regardless of what that true north space is for you, go for it. Don't be altered from it. You know, go for it 100%. No matter what it is, do it at 100%. Because it's all a learning experience. So don't you want to learn as much as you can while we're still in the learning, you know, while we're in a learning phase. Mistakes are meant to be made, you know. That's what it's all about. And I think it's very important for us to harken back when we're assessing past and future, you know. Myself included, we can get super wrapped up into thought worlds, right, that are what ifs, and we build these theories, sort of, off of these fake stakes in the ground, right, that if this happens, it could be this next, and then it could be that, and then it could be this, oh my gosh, and then I'm really facing this. However, between all those what ifs, there are other possible, better positive opportunities that could be popping up on the side there that you could, oh no, I saw that alignment, I don't like the way that looks, let me grab this choice over here, let me wait and not jump at that because I know this will be aligning later, I'll wait for this, thank you. You know, having larger base of knowledge, seeing all of your life experience as learning times that you can draw from today in the present moment to make more conscious decisions, you know, at these choice points, these red flag events, triggers, whatever they are, cycling back, seeing yourself presented with, you know, trauma or mistakes that you've made previously or same problems popping up kind of thing, right? If we can step back as an observer and assess them as learning experiences, see yourself as a teacher, and then as your past self or your future self as that student in a classroom, right? And slowly observe it and offer different assessments, different angles of perception to look at things, different terms, you know, different words even. When you're feeling a certain way or you have a certain immediate, oh, it's definitely, I just saw this, so it means this is happening later, you know? Say if you have, like you're working with a partner, and this is a good example because the present moment also has this undertone feeling of relationships and direct, right? You're working through issues, say, with a partner, and you say, oh, you know, you see them reverting into a pattern maybe that you've already talked to them about that is like a negative kind of thing, a vibe between you two, right? And you say, oh, well, they're doing this again, so they must be, you know, bottling their feelings up because they're not, you know, being as communicative with me. Say, I do this personally. I used to. I work on it very hard, and now I'm very much better at speaking my mind as it is, but I used to hold my tongue and stuff my feelings down to be people-pleasing and to go along. And then it would bottle up until it got to a point where I couldn't handle it anymore, and then it would be a fight and explode, right? So, you know, instead, speaking at that time has been a big work in practice for me over the years, you know, the last 5 years or so. It's been a work partnership with me and my husband to, you know, and it'll come to these times exactly when it'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm reverting and falling back. But when I remember it's a learning experience, you know, I am becoming a better communicator. I'm becoming more free, more accepting of myself and my emotions, you know, it's practice. And that has really opened up such a space in our personal relationship and in our dynamics and, excuse me, in the foundations too. You know, it solidifies foundations. It really cements in the working and makes it very valuable because you see and feel the worth and the progress all the time in daily life. You know, it opens up with way more positive feelings. So You know, if you're in the present moment and you have kind of dynamics in life that are uncomfortable, go to, you know, and go to your significant other and present it to them. Let's work at this like a learning experience. Let's try to step out of ourselves here and work together as problem solvers on a team, you know, instead of a I'm right, you're wrong, or we're on separate things, somebody's got to win over another or something, you know, somebody's right, somebody's wrong kind of thing. You know, that's I love it, and I'm going to try to end here. It's been a half an hour. I want to keep this video short, but there's a great saying in a song that I love by this rapper Immortal Technique, and he's talking about systems and trying to change systems from within. However, I feel the dynamic, what I'm talking about here with changing system within dynamics of individual relationships, right? In anything, and especially in an individual level or in direct relationships. He says, you know, compromise is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with compromising. But when you compromise yourself in a situation, that's a whole different story completely, right? We go into something thinking we're going to change it. Usually, we just get sucked into the momentum of it, the karmatic wheel of the liar's loop. We get right into it when you go into the mentality of trying to change it from within. When you go into it with the mentality of an outsider's view of the unique individual, and the participation is co-creation, you know, you're not going into the system and seeing it for what it is. You're going out with an outsider's view and asking the other to come in with that outsider's view as well and look for solutions that are harmonious to that like system you're trying to create or the thing you're trying to build, the relationship, right? It's a whole different perspective. And you won't compromise yourself for a system to meet its goal. Instead, you'll alter the goals in the system. You know, you'll alter the system to your goals. And it works better because it's aligned to your truth. You'll never compromise yourself. You will find ways that are, you know, compromise the structuring to the ways instead for both of you or for all that are involved. If it's more than two people, if it's a home dynamic, family dynamic, or a work dynamic or anything, you know, you get input from all users or all people in part of the relationship, and you seek solutions that work best for all of you. Right? Because it's a learning experience for all of us. And we're all students and we're all teachers. And that's another thing that I love, and I won't get into, but the teach-learning cycle, right? It's a beautiful cycle. We tend to see it so wrongly as teacher at the head of the classroom on a pedestal talking down at students at a lower level. But, you know, that creates really uncomfortable and really deluded and delusional perceptions, you know, and misconceptions that I won't get into, but it really should be seen as a cycle where everybody's on the same ground. That is conducive to learning experiences, and it helps us flow through our lives and time more harmoniously, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to this full video. I think it is such an important message individually and collectively. Like I said, this will be included in a blog that I'm going to drop later in the week, so I will leave links to that over in Telegram probably, and on my BitChute video, or you can find me over on WordPress, Amarie Speaks, or directly at www.amariespeaks.com. So thanks so much for joining. Talk to you next time.